It is homecoming week. It is on-campus stadium groundbreaking week, and the Bulls hope to keep the winning week going on. Darek Sharp here with Caylee, Cottrell, and Joey Johnston after the Bulls win a second in a row. They've closed their last two games out by a combined 58-6. Don't get into too many details of the first half, but the Bulls were behind, and then they overcame, and they kept on overcoming. Joey and Caylee were both there. Joey from the booth, what was it like for you?
I thought it was about as perfect on both sides of the ball as I've seen from USF in literally years. I really thought that in the second half. Everything Coach Golesh tells us about the way he wants USF to operate, they did, in my opinion. And I think if they can continue anything resembling that, they're going to be a tough out the rest of the way, for sure.
And the running game churned over more than 220 yards in the second half alone. It went from basically getting doubled up in total yards in the first half to the Bulls had more than 500, and FAU didn't get to that point. So, Caylee, you were on the sidelines, filling in with us on the radio side. Thank you, very good. We found out about 30 minutes before air that she'd be on the radio broadcast.
Gotta be flexible in this business.
You did great, by the way, and you got to see it firsthand and talk to the coach halftime and post-game about it. So what were your impressions?
Man, kind of a 180 from the first half to the second. I don't know what was said in that locker room. I do know Quentin Flowers was in the locker room at the half. Don't know if he had any words for the guys. But got to interview
grabbed him on the sideline too.
Yeah, got to interview him on the sideline, and wow, the energy the second half, like, talk about momentum. The Bulls just, once they got it, they didn't stop with it, and like Joey was saying, both sides of the ball just so efficient, and everyone was feeling it. There wasn't one person on that sideline that wasn't dancing or wasn't smiling. It was a blast down there. It was truly a fun time.
Maybe we'll ask RJ Perry if he was doing some dancing. He'll be our guest later on after Coach Golesh. And you said what was said at halftime. The USF Football account, the social media account, put out a video just before we started taping where we saw what Coach Golesh said at halftime, and it was play for each other. And it's very subtle. And then he said it again, and then he said it louder, and then he said it louder, and so they're playing for each other, and that's fantastic. A lot of teams are playing now on campus. It's been a busy week already with basketball and soccer. We'll talk about that in our closing segment, and we'll also talk about, we alluded to it already, the on-campus stadium groundbreaking is Friday, and Friday night is a pretty good Hall of Fame class that's going to be inducted. So a lot to get to ahead of the, of course, main event Saturday, the game against Navy. So we got to always tell people what's coming up. Speaking of Hall of Fame and sort of a big weekend with homecoming, what do you have for us on the feature?
Homecoming feature coming up. I talked to, it was fun to talk to alumni in different fields.
Okay.
Jesse Hester is now with the Tampa PD, so into public service,
Awesome.
and Jay Mize into business, and talked to Augie Sanchez, who's now coaching in MBS, going in pros. So it was very cool to talk to different alumni in different fields and get their take on how USF has impacted them, and they had nothing but amazing things to say about the university, raved about the program and Coach Golesh and everything that's happening now with the program. So super fun feature to
look
put
forward to seeing that. I know you guys have been working hard, got home late from that, got right on the basketball court at the Yingling Center on Monday night with women's basketball. So like we said, a lot happening, but the head coach will be joining us to get things going here on Bullseye.
Legacy, right? Talk about legacy. How do I want to be remembered? Coach as hard as you can for you. You play as hard as you can for each other. We fucking roll on these motherfuckers. Everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
Fucking personal as anything you've ever done. Play for each other. That's it. Am I good?
Yes, sir.
Friday night mayhem becomes Bedlam and Boca tonight. ESPN, it's FAU homecoming. USF in town. It's the American.
We'll dictate when this woman's done. We're gonna dictate the whole night, and nobody gets out of here until we say we're finished with it. Make them remember the night USF came here.
Breaks one loose, and South Florida is on the board.
Hey, we in it together now. So you see it, bang that, we with you.
Play for each other. Play for each other.
Play for each other. Play for each other.
Will try. Archie is in. To the end zone. Atkins brings it in. Round again. It's Joyner. He's got a blocker in front. Ball is loose, and it looks like South Florida recovers. Going quickly. Shovel pass. Joyner dives in. Finds a hole. Touchdown. South Florida. What a run. He got there. He did not. Teron Keith with a big hole. There he goes. Touchdown, South Florida.
Big dog, you see this? I'm on my James Winston type this tonight. Boca Raton is our house. Boca Raton is our house.
And with the head coach now, Darek Sharp here and Joey Johnston, Alex Golesh. We got a huge week, not just the game itself on Saturday, but the festivities on Friday. We'll get into all that, but let's talk a little bit about the festivities last weekend down in Boca. I'm pretty sure you were happy, maybe not with the first half, but thrilled with the second half.
Yeah, it's really been 2 weeks in a row where we've come out in the first half and sputtered offensively, just little things, pitching, catching, being able to finish drives, being able to start drives, and defensively, really very similar story again in terms of missed tackles. We were misaligned on some tempo things early, and you talk about point of emphasis. You can't do that against really good football teams, and I was proud of the way we kind of regrouped. Offensively, I think made some really good adjustments. We're able to run the football. We're able to do some really good things in the red zone, and then defensively, man, the ability to create negatives, ability to create sacks. I think once we got up a little bit and made them one-dimensional, the ability to get after the quarterback was huge. And then fourth down stops, which are essentially turnovers, absolutely huge. So I thought we tightened up. Again, you keep trying to teach and learn and teach and learn to against really good football teams. You get down like that, it's going to be really, really hard to come back, and we've lived that. And it's at some point here we got to stop living it, and we're fighting like crazy to make sure we're able to start fast.
Maybe the second half wasn't perfect, but there were sure times in that second half where I said, man, this looks like this is supposed to look. I mean, you're running the ball, you're getting after the quarterback, you're scoring, you're stopping the other team. I mean, again, not perfect, but it had to be close to kind of with the way you draw this thing up, what you want USF football to look like.
Yeah, I think we've had glimpses of that really over the last 2 years where you're playing true complementary football. You're not killing yourself with things you're doing. I think we're getting closer to that. There's still some discipline things. There's 2 personal fouls that you could think of that are true emotional plays. There are penalties that happen within the course of a game that happen. Holdings, hands to the face, different things where they're just in-game penalties. You coach the heck out of them, but they happen. I was really disappointed with a couple of the personal fouls. There's 2 crackbacks that, man, you talk about things you've coached and coached and coached. So it tells me we're nowhere near ready in terms of our growth. We've got to continue to go, but when you're able to stop people and score points, it certainly feels closer to what you want. But we got a long way to go.
Something that Joey's often accused of, disconcerting signals, but at least you were more disconcerting to the other team. Mentioning the 7 sacks, it's something that is kind of an off-the-wall question. There's probably no way, unless Joey comes up and tells you, that you have a school record going. I know you're not. Your coaching game, you're not thinking about stats and that kind of thing. I got to ask you, 7 sacks in general, speak about that, but also, do you have people in your ear telling you things the whole game, or is that sort of, have you gotten that calm? I'm just trying to picture how many people are in your ear when you're coaching a game.
Yeah, the records, stuff like that, you got no idea until Segrist grabs you afterwards. Which he said, man, 7 tied the school record, of which had no idea, but that's pretty cool. The people in your ear, you know what, the the game day communication is such a huge piece of what you work through. You work through it in scrimmages, you work through it before the season starts, but honestly, it's part of our Friday checklist of things that outside of the usual that need to be communicated, whether it's personnel changes, whether it's number changes, whether it's specific situations that, hey, you're responsible for reminding me about this, you're responsible for reminding me about this on both sides of the ball. Okay. But it's part of what you check off. In terms of during the course of the play, there's one person talking on either side of the headsets. Now you go, once the drive is over, there's two channels, and one group's on one group's on the other, and everybody knows if I start talking or a coordinator starts talking, man, we got to be able to talk clearly, concisely. But it's there's certainly a method to the madness, and it's talked about a lot. If it's not perfect, it's certainly talked about right there, then and there.
And was it real quick, I assume it was, and I know what you're doing there, going for 2 at the end, you wanted to make it a 4-score game, right? Was that the inner thing?
Sure.
The chart,
Yeah.
the 2-point chart.
2-point chart.
Put it away.
You're getting ready for Navy, which is a job in itself, and we'll talk more about that. But on Friday, the groundbreaking for the on-campus stadium and your new operations building. What does all that mean to you, that this, the symbolism of what is to come for this program?
Yeah, I told my wife this weekend, I'm like, man, remember sitting in our living room in Knoxville, and MK and Jay Stroman got all these books sitting there. I was like, man, I promise you it's going to look like this. I promise you we're going to do this. And to actually see it, just the process over the last 2 years, I've not been as crazy involved in the stadium itself. That's like way out of my realm of expertise. But I've been really involved in the building. At least when I say that, I've given as much of my 2 cents into what that building needs to look like from a functionality standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint. We took a field trip last year and visited a bunch of places in a 2-day span, and have flipped that building on its head 10 times over. And I think I'm so excited to get it done so that our guys can enjoy it, and our guys can really feel that new, exciting part of having a building like that. I'm excited from a recruiting side to point to it and say, man, like we said it was going to happen, here it happened. But beyond any of that, I'm so excited for our former players and our alumni base and our donor base, and certainly our students now. But more than anybody, I think our former players to be able to come back and show their kids and their families, like, man, there used to be trailers right here where the stadium is sitting, and I was part of building that. I think there's nothing cooler than for those guys to be able to come back and say, man, and for Coach Levitt to have a vision so long ago, and like I said, where there was trailers is now going to be one of the coolest stadiums in the country. Certainly the best football facility in the entire country, and it's the next step for us. It'll be surreal, but as you look to the future, it's certainly the next step for us. It's hard to think much past Navy, but now that you asked me that's where my mind goes.
We'll get back to Navy in a second, but one other thing, and that's going to benefit the whole school, not just athletics. I wanted to commend you and your team, because I know you guys got in late/early Saturday morning from Boca, and I saw you and a lot of the team there at the celebration of life for Amir Abdur-Rahim. I also want people to know, if they saw it, they were probably moved by everybody that spoke, but Rev, we've spoken about him, Reverend Lane, he didn't just show up there. He's a constant presence. He's at your games. He was at the basketball game that I did on Monday night. Speak about making sure you guys were there, and also Rev. We don't talk about him much.
Yeah, we don't talk about Rev, but Rev's been here since those days out there in the trailers. Rev's such a powerful human being. One, he's my historian of the program. Sure. Every time I've got a question or a former player or, man, how was this at this time? He's always got an answer. He knows everything that's gone on here for a long time. More than anything, he's an incredible human being, incredible father, incredible husband. Really somebody that always tells me what he sees, tells me the truth in what he sees. I think for our players, a very much an ear, somebody that'll sit there and listen to him and then be really real with them and what he thinks. He, outside of just being a man of high character and certainly a spiritual leader, he's become a really good friend to our players, become a really good friend to our staff. But the Celebration of Life Saturday really, we went to the one at Kennesaw State and got to see so many of the people that Amir grew up with, and felt like it was 43 years of just people that he was able to affect in such a positive way. It was eye-opening. It was humbling. It was. I was really, really proud to be his friend for the year and a half that we were here together, and really just the legacy he left. I think our players enjoyed that for a year and a half. I think he left a legacy with them, just in terms of his energy, his passion, his enthusiasm for life. And I'm grateful to our players that came Saturday as well. I think it was fascinating to see all the teams, because it was optional. Nobody made anybody come, but just the amount of people he affected on this campus is eye-opening. Again, I go back and I'm like, man, am I doing enough? Because and that's what Amir did for me and held me accountable for checking myself on, man, like your job is also to tie this community together. Your job is also to tie this campus together. And again, a guy that had done it, done it once before, and he was such a huge resource for me in everything, not just recruiting or NIL or any of that. More so just, man, people like you. Tell me why. But in reality, just it was really, really cool. I don't know if it brought any closure to many people, but I think it was eye-opening how many people he touched in his time here.
So Navy,
Yeah.
the homecoming game, special challenge, special preparation. What is your preparation like for this group that does things maybe a little different than most football teams?
Yeah, it's a true test of discipline. I put that word up on Monday. We talk so much about process and how we go about our daily business, and explain to our guys, well, this is their process and this is how they go about their daily business. Without being there, I've certainly got a good feel for what those young men do on a daily basis. And I made a point of we meet at 7:25. So man, these dudes been already in formation, already marched, already ate breakfast. You talk about discipline, you talk about process. These are men of elite discipline, elite process, elite character. And so how do you win when there's 200 of them? And well, you got to be more disciplined. Your process got to be better, and you've got to be more ready to go than they are on Saturday. And so I think our guys are starting to understand what that looks like in general, but discipline's the word of the week, man, in terms of, and I'm not a big word of the week guy, but it certainly is this week, both offensively for us because of what they do defensively and the problems they create and the multiple pictures and the multiple blitzes that they bring, but offensively what they do is really unique and different. It's different than a year ago. I think the coordinator change has made him so dynamic. The quarterback play has made him so dynamic. And those guys play incredibly hard. They play for each other. They're extremely well coached. They're extremely disciplined. They really don't hurt themselves. Had some turnover issues the last 2 weeks, which everybody's shocked because of how disciplined they really are. And they've had a unique 2 weeks with playing Notre Dame in a neutral site and then going down to Houston and playing Rice with weather. I passed out, and it was still the first quarter of that game Saturday night. I'm not sure what time it got done, but it had to be really, really late after 2 weather delays and rain and crazy field conditions. And So they're ready. They'll be ready. They'll be ready to be on the normal grass field and ready to rock. So it'll be a huge test for us.
Yeah, Navy can throw the ball, and the Bulls will want to match that with the running game like they had last week. Hey, great job, Coach.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Coach.
And his team will be ready to roll, and a guy that's wanting to keep that running game going is RJ Perry. He's going to join us next.
First off, fill me in on what's going on in your life now and what that journey has kind of looked like after USF.
This is my 7th year in the NFL. Spent 4 years in Green Bay. Signed my second contract to go over to the Kansas City Chiefs. Won 2 Super Bowls, and I ended up in New Orleans.
So I'm teaching, and actually I'm a head coach at a high school as well. So coaching didn't go too far from me.
Business, so we're developing a lot of real estate. We have the Hours 31 pubs and coach a lot of football teams for my kids.
I am a police officer with Tampa Police Department. We had 2 state troopers with the team, and they're some of our biggest fans. Also, with some of my fraternity brothers, being in law enforcement, they kind of took me in that direction.
How do you think your time at USF helped set you up for success?
Oh man, it was everything. There's so many relationships that I have that I tap into to this day, somehow trace back to USF.
Being able to just battle through some just adverse times, and that kind of prepared me for anything the league had to offer me. I got USF, a whole mural tattooed on my back. So I think I would not be in this place that I am today without USF.
Especially with law enforcement, just being able to communicate, teamwork, all that stuff plays a big role.
I do take a lot of our core philosophies and things that I learned there, and I try to instill them in the kids today.
That mentality of having to earn it, and it's never going to be a handout to you from the moment you walk into the door, was something that I'll never forget.
Just the ability to grind and persevere and overcome all the obstacles and not find excuses and not point fingers and just find a way.
Anytime I'm in Tampa, I stop by USF. I think it's super beneficial for the guys to kind of see players that were in their shoes at the next level. And I think that what he's kind of changed that program around to, it looks very similar to what I was a part of when I was there.
I feel like he's brought a lot of energy, and I think he cares about the place. I think he wants it to be successful just as bad as anyone else. So that's really nice to see, especially as an alumni. You hope that they just respect it like you did as a player. And I think Coach Golesh has done that, and I really appreciate that from him.
Coach Golesh has done an amazing job getting the program back to relevance. He is an amazing man. I trust him, 1,000% leading this program.
Where the program is at now, the growth of it with the indoor performance facility and the on-campus stadium coming, how cool is it for you as an alumni?
You know what? I'm not a jealous person, but I'm really jealous that they have all this facility. I'm just so proud to see how far it's come, and with the on-campus stadium coming, how much further it's going to go, right? We're nowhere near our potential, and that's what's exciting.
Just being able to go into the indoor and still be able to use it. Those guys have just always welcomed us back. I think that's huge.
And even to the smaller things, I make little jokes and stuff, but like the uniforms that they have now, like we didn't have those types. We couldn't have uniform, mix it up.
It was just one of those places where I still have those friendships today. I'm a goddad to Dietrich Nichols' babies, and I think that's just like a huge testament of like the brotherhood that we created.
I could go into any room, not seeing a guy for 5, 10, 15 years, and it instantly is like a brother. I was actually just a best man in Roy Mann's wedding about a month ago.
Those memories that you make with those teammates, and you can't take that for granted.
I look at USF as the best university in the world. My whole family graduated from there. It's just one of those things, still, it's near and dear to my heart. It truly is spectacular. Lifelong friends, met my wife there. That place just gave me so much, and the memories I have there will last a lifetime. I'm indebted to that place. I enjoy that place. I love that place. I wish it nothing but success. I hope it just keeps moving up.
Darek Sharp, Caylee, Cottrell, now joined by RJ Perry, one of the leaders of that offensive line, which has been playing really good ball lately. We'll get into some pretty cool stuff with RJ, including some family stuff. He's got some great support. But how about support? You got the running game rolling along. How do you, everyone looks at the guys that get the stats. You guys don't get the stats, but you're a big reason behind the stats. How does it feel when you start to roll like you did, especially against FAU?
It's amazing. It started out a little slow. But as I was telling the guys, like, once we get that first one going and you just start having fun, Because like if you can look like in the third quarter when we were finna go down the score, it was 7-14.
Yep.
I was like in the huddle, I was just dancing, having fun, enjoying myself. And I told the guys like, when you enjoy yourself and have fun and start smiling, everything's gonna go your way, and it did.
How much of a difference does it make when you play loose like that? Because it's fun to watch.
It makes a whole difference because like you can go from having fun and next thing you know, bombs, touchdowns, running back scoring, quarterback scoring. Next thing you know, you picking up your running back in the air, you running downfield, doing your little celebration. Because you don't get a chance to do that. So like it changes the outcome of the game because like we're the cultures of the team, the O-line is. So like as we go, everybody else goes. So if we down, the running back's down, the quarterback's down, the wide receivers down, tight end's down. So as long as we up, we happy, we excited, we happy to be here, it's like everything's gonna roll our way.
I'm curious about how you guys get to, I mean, when you're up tempo, you hardly get to look at the scoreboard, but do you ever, like you don't know when Naquan Wright's doing a 360 in the backfield and then shooting up 10 yards. Do you ever get a chance after a play to see the run, or do you have to look straight forward to the next one?
I just wait for the next play. When I get to the sideline, I see what he did in the backfield, see like what really happened, what goes on with the play and how it happened. That's how I get my chance to see what's going on.
And I know you love your backs, and you got 3 really strong backs. Is it returned to you guys whenever someone gets a nice block? Do they come to you? I'm sure they show you.
They definitely do. Like when we get to the sideline, like all of them come dap us up. Even the quarterbacks, the ones that we ain't even running the ball yet, they'll come dap us up because they really enjoy scoring.
They know. We'll talk about support. I was able to talk to your mom and your dad at the Alabama game, and they told me that you had over 100 supporters in the crowd for you because your little brother had a game that same day, and all his teammates and everyone went from his game to your game. How much does that support mean to you?
It means a lot. My mom, been partnering with me forever, but my mom, she never misses a beat. She like when I was at Tennessee, I wasn't playing for real. She was at every game. Like she didn't miss. Spring game. We always, who knows, Missouri, anywhere, she's at the game. She doesn't miss. And that's just like, that right there, that makes me smile. Because like I get to see my parents and I stay 8 to 9 hours away from home. My mama doing all this driving to come see me play means a lot to me because she can go work, she can go do anything else that she wants, but she come see me play. So that means a lot to me. That's awesome.
Well, I love that. She also said that when you were younger, you were a bit more reserved, a bit more shy, and you've really grown into yourself as a leader. How do you feel like you've developed?
I got around the guys more. Like, I feel like as I stepped up and like learned more about the game that I was playing, from basketball, football to baseball, I learned more about what's going on and how the game should be played and how to talk to people. And so I was at Tennessee, I had my own little football team. So I learned more and more how to talk to people and how to coach and how to lead different groups and different ages.
Wait, you had your own little football team, like you coached a team?
Yes, sir. I had my own 7-on-7 football team. We used to travel everywhere.
No way, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was 18, 19, I was coaching 14 through 17-year-olds.
Now, people might not know this, but you, on a 7-on-7 team, you could play a receiver, right? Because
Absolutely.
Tell people about your high school exploits, and it wasn't just football.
Right. So in high school, I played wide out and I played DN, and I played tight end on the field. But it was very fun. I had a couple offers to go play tight end, but I chose the DN route. Then next thing you know, I'm on the O-line wearing knee braces.
How do you think those roles have kind of shaped your play today?
Me playing receiver helps with my feet a lot. And then when I was playing defense, I know like certain moves that you can use against me. I know how to stop those moves.
Makes sense.
So they give me the development of knowing both sides of the ball. So I know coverages. I know when people finna blitz. I know when people finna do a stunt. I know all kinds of things of the game because I play both sides of the ball.
Yeah, well, I know also that you could probably, now that we know about your receiving skills, lobby maybe to get into a play.
Yeah,
Tackles can be eligible.
I've been trying. I've been talking to Coach Golesh about it. I've been trying hard.
Is he be cool about it, or is it just like...
I'm going to get him the buzz one day.
Okay.
One day.
And then describe your skill set from basketball, because I know you were an all-state type player.
Okay, I had a couple hours to go hoop in college. So I was the 4 and the 5. I can dribble, shoot, dunk, do anything you want. I got a couple videos out there on the internet of me dunking. I can send them to you guys.
Oh,
if
no,
you need
that'd be
it.
great.
Do.
I need to see
Yeah,
that. We need to get that on the show for sure.
I was a menace on the court.
I love it.
Yeah, menace on the
I was
court.
a menace.
All right, got to ask you though, could you do it now? I'm sorry. We got his brother, Mike Lofton, in the background.
What's up, Mike?
You can come behind us on camera, Mike. It's all right. You might have to lean in towards his chest for you to be heard. Actually, no, not Mike Lofton, because he can be heard.
Where you get this shirt from?
My NIL shop.
I found it. Make sure you guys go shop at RJ Perry. Shameless plug.
That's right.
here.
Real quick, we were just talking,
it.
you didn't hear it, about his ability and 7-on-7 back in the day to be a wide receiver and a tight end. Does he show off those skills to you, or is that like him just talking at this point?
He shows it off. You can really tell by like the way he plays tackle. He tries to like be a finesse guy. It's like it shows on the field.
That's an insult by an offensive lineman. Mike Lofton, we love you, buddy.
I love you guys.
Keep doing what you're
Good to see
doing.
you out here.
Keep doing what you're doing. All right, talk about that guy now that he's off the camera.
Him?
Yeah.
That's my guy. I first got here, he was hosting me on my visit. And like he's probably one of the reasons I'm here, because I really enjoyed myself. He brought me in, showed me around to almost all the guys that was here in January of last year. And like, man, Mike been cool ever since. Like if I call him to come pick me up, he got me. If like my car ran out of gas, I can be all the way in Hillsborough. He gonna come like go get a gas can and help me out, because that's the type of brotherhood we built, especially in the O-line room.
That's outstanding. You got to have that in the O-line room.
You
Okay,
definitely
so he sort of said, look up RJ Perry.
Yeah.
I've been looking at this piece
Let's
of
hear about
looks like
it.
gear off to the side.
Yes, sir.
Now we're going to bring it on camera.
So this
see
is one
it.
of my hoodies that's in my NIL shop.
I love that.
Yeah, got my name on the back, number, and then on the front, you know you got to represent the school, represent the city. I got South Florida on the front. I got plenty more. Even this shirt right here got my name on the back of it. So if you want to cop some gear, go to my Instagram, link in my bio. And what is the one of the games? I got senior night coming up real soon. I love to see most of everybody out here wearing an RJ Perry shirt. I would love it and appreciate it.
So a link, and what is your Instagram?
RJ Perry 4.
Easy enough.
Yes, sir.
So athletesthread.com, athletesthread.com. It's not just for him, it's for everybody at USF that has the NIL. It's all the colleges. It's very easy. I actually went to the website before we started taping this segment. And yeah, let's see some RJ Perry gear, not just in Alabama, but all over the place. What are you looking most forward to this week against Navy before we wrap it up here?
Everything. It's going to be a great weekend for the guys. Coming off our second win, it's going to be elite. We need this win. It's mid for the guys. For the O-line, we trying to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball and run the ball and have fun while we're doing it. It's a 12 o'clock game. I hope to see everybody there and enjoy themselves.
Awesome. Hey, we love watching you. We're glad to have you fully healthy. And yeah, I'm going to go on that website now. Thanks a lot.
Me too.
Appreciate
Love
you.
it. Thanks, RJ.
We'll wrap it up here in just a few minutes. All right, that's Athletes Thread. Oh, I'm going to get one of those RJ Perry hoodies, man.
Yeah, you can rock it.
Very nice, actually. He and the Bulls will be taking on Navy this weekend, but Friday night is going to be huge. Friday afternoon is the on-campus stadium groundbreaking. You can get here for that. You have to have tickets for the Hall of Fame class, and people might have heard Joey, the quarterback that's being honored. He'll be the third. You mentioned Quentin Flowers already, has been inducted, Marco Blackwell, but Matt Grothe, that could be an entertaining speech.
It really could be. It really could be. Be there for that one, folks. But Matt Grothe was an iconic quarterback for the Bulls. He engineered so many great victories, probably the two biggest at Auburn and West Virginia. He had a unique hairstyle at the time called the Grohawk. But he was a guy that gave everything on the field and really didn't hold anything back afterwards. And talking to him, he was a high-spirited dude, and he continues to be around in the USF world. This school means a lot to him. He would like to get back on that field and play. I know that. And one of the things that was always touched me in a lot of ways was his senior year he got hurt.
Yep. I was there.
Out for the year, out for the career. B.J. Daniels came in. He was down on the field, and in talking to him later, he said he didn't get up immediately. He could have gotten up. He says, I just wanted to lay there and smell the grass, and look at the lights. So he was one of those guys that this football thing meant a lot to him, being out there and playing ball.
Mr. History, could you check my memory and tell me right away if I'm wrong? But I was definitely there. Was it Tennessee Tech?
Maybe Charleston Southern?
One of those.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I was there and I knew right away. You could just tell.
A game that USF had in hand.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
But it gave way to the B.J. Daniels era, but the Matt Grothe era was, I think, for a lot of fans, in a lot of ways still was the time of their lives, because everything that happened with the program, how it progressed, and the fact that they had this kind of spirited, rowdy, no holds barred quarterback that made it a lot of fun.
And it's going to be not just him, but Eddie Cardieri, the long time the winningest baseball coach, Chase Keppa as far as golf goes, and Jeff Cunningham soccer. It's going to be a fun Friday night.
Yeah, great class.
And I want to get to you on what you saw with men's basketball, but I want to talk to Caylee real quick about the women's basketball team. We do the radio, she does ESPN Plus, and Mama Dembele, oh mama, their new point guard, what an attraction she is.
I mean, what a dominating start to the season, first of all, and super cool to watch the transfers, the freshmen, get a glimpse of the new faces. I think 7 newcomers for the Bulls, and I mean, it's always cool to see, because I know USF has always been a very international team. And I think I read that we're the only team in the NCAA with 11 international players from 10 different countries.
Makes sense.
And the girls have always said they learn so much from each other, and Coach Jose has always mastered the art of making a group of girls from around the world seem to just click so well. So it was cool to get a glimpse of their new energy that they're going to bring this year.
They were clicking all right, and it was fun to watch. They'll be back at home on Thursday night. And next week is when the men have their first home game, but you got to be there on the call for the radio side in Jacksonville, and even though the Gators won the game, they're going to win a lot of games, you got to see not just how this new group looked, but how it honored its coach with its play, and how the Gators honored Amir Abdur-Rahim. It was a special night.
Yeah, first of all, the game, let's understand one thing. Florida might be the best team USF plays all year.
That's what I was thinking.
Don't be surprised if Florida challenges for the SEC and goes deep in the NCAA tournament. I mean, this was one heck of a tall task for the opener. USF led by 13 in the first half and had them for most of the second half before Florida pulled away with kind of a parade to the free throw line, if you want to be honest. But overall, considering all the emotions, just getting on the court was a thing for this team. And to play well against a Florida team was really outstanding. When we walked in the gym last night, didn't know it was coming, but all the Florida players had Abdur-Rahim shirts with their numbers. Very touching, meaningful. Everybody
really
appreciated that.
Really nice.
And
I love your patch too, by the way.
The AAR patch. Everybody
have that on as many pieces of clothing as we can have.
And there was a lot of feeling before and after the game with the coaches and the players. Everybody did a great job of honoring Coach Amir. But through most of the game, I mean, there's a lot to like about this men's basketball team, with not only the holdovers but the newcomers. I mean, there were some plays in the first half that were downright spectacular. Some alley-oop dunks, and there were some runouts. It was looking good. So I think we have a lot to watch with this team. A lot of new players we're going to get to know, but it wasn't the result you want. But again, you got to take into consideration how good that team was, that Gator team. So men's basketball off and running, and I think good things are ahead.
They'll play at one of Coach's first stops as an assistant at College of Charleston on Friday night, and they'll be back home next week for 2 games. And of course, this Saturday at noon, it'll be the football team going up against Navy. I want to thank RJ Perry and of course Alex Golesh and my friends Joey and Caylee. As always, thanks for watching Bullseye, and keep those horns up.